there, it's Meonicorn. Welcome to the very first video in my Chinese literature series, and today we are going to talk about what is Chinese literature. I'm not going to tell you the genres or types or history of Chinese literature here today. I'm just here to clarify some simple misunderstanding around Chinese literature that I have seen before. But before we dive into the topic, I have to say that I am by no means an expert on literature, neither Chinese literature nor the English ones. I'm just a person who happened to be a Chinese, so maybe know a little bit more about Chinese literature than others on BookTube. And also, all the things that I say in my video are my not very professional but original opinions. So without further ado, let's talk about what is Chinese literature. I'm air quoting the question because I don't think I actually answered the question in this video. It's very interesting, or some people may think it's very stupid to talk about such a big topic in one video. Not to mention this big topic can be answered in one short sentence. Chinese literature is, of course, the literature written by Chinese people. Yes, it is, and you are definitely right. But the reason why I'm talking about it today is because I see people sometimes mixing Chinese literature with other kind of literature, such as Chinese American literature, Chinese British literature, or Chinese other nationality literature. We see people writing about China all the time. Either things happen in China or the things happen to the immigrants who's from China, but that doesn't mean these are Chinese literature. For example, there are some very famous Chinese American writers such as Amy Tan or Lisa Xi. They write such a topic all the time, but they are American authors. Their writings is called Chinese American literature. It is a subgenre under American literature, not a part of Chinese literature. Here you may have questioned that, why do you emphasize such a simple thing that much? Well, it's all about representations. Here on BookTube, we are all aware of the importance of reading own voice books. A good own voice book is not only enjoyable but also educational. So what I'm trying to say here is, if you are reading about China and Chinese people from Chinese literature, you will have a better understanding about the things and the people that the author trying to say in their books. And also the representation you get of China and Chinese people will be more precise. However, I get your confusion. There are so many people who was born as Chinese but they end up get education or living in another country for a long time or even forever. How about them? Are they Chinese writers as well? Well, for this question, I have two simple ways that you can look at. The first one is to see what the writer described themselves. If the writer described themselves as Chinese writers, then they are Chinese writers. If the writer say, oh, I'm an American writer or I'm a British writer, then they are American or British writers. For example, Guo Xiaolu, who wrote a concise Chinese-English dictionary for lovers, is a British as nationality, but she called herself a Chinese writer and she got all her education from primary school to the master's in China. So I consider her work as Chinese literature because she considers herself that way. And the second way I kind of already mentioned is to see the educational background of the author. If they got most of their education in China or they are fully adulted in China before they move overseas, I more consider they are Chinese authors. However, if they are like a child and they go abroad to live, or they got most of their education outside of China and decided to live overseas like forever, they are not Chinese writer. For example, Ken Liu, who wrote The Grace of Kings, he also translated a lot of Chinese books into English, including the Hugo Award winner Three Body Problems. He is by no doubt an American author, even though he was born in China and didn't go to America until he was 8 or 11 years old. The same thing applies to other countries' literature too. Just do a little bit more research if you are interested in representations. Another thing that I got asked a lot is about the relationship between Mandarin and Cantonese. Are these two the same language or are they totally different ones? And I have seen people wondering if the Chinese book that they are reading is translated from Mandarin or Cantonese. So long answer short, they write in the same way but speaking differently. However, Cantonese do have some of its special oral Cantonese written characters. That is because some of the tones in Cantonese cannot be found in a standard Chinese writing, so they invented some of the characters or they kept some from Asian Chinese languages. But this is not the phenomenon only for Cantonese. Most of the Chinese dialects have its own special written characters, but not very much. Most of the Cantonese special characters are injectors like wow, nope, aha, something like that, or special names or special places, and they are often be used at the places where speaking Cantonese apparently, but they are using in a more casual way. For example, when people are texting each other or chatting online, or some not very formal but casual medias. However, in the books or public magazines, people are still using the written standard Chinese characters even in the Cantonese speaking area. And by the way, the quantity of Cantonese special characters are way less than standard Chinese characters. So when you are reading a book translated from Chinese, you won't get a version of like a Mandarin version or a Cantonese version. You can only get a Chinese version. And actually, Chinese has more dialects than Mandarin and Cantonese. And we also have 晋、吴、赣、湘、闽、客家、平、徽州, and much more. So just be aware that Mandarin or Cantonese are the most popular ones among all of those. And some linguists, they consider these are all individual languages, but some linguists, they consider these are dialects under the Chinese language. So I'm not a professional here. I'm just here to deliver this information to you. And that's all the things that I want to say in this video. I feel like I didn't say anything directly related to any of the Chinese literature. However, I hope I have answered some of your questions. If you don't have any question at all, thumbs up to you. And please stay tuned for my upcoming videos about the genres or the types or the history of Chinese literature, some of the classics and also some of the modern ones. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, happy reading! Bye!